To be honest, this is my fifth time that I'm recording this video because this video is about getting a start with blueprints, and I know that's a lot important. So it doesn't matter how much I press record and delete. I try my best to create the best video for this course. But if you have any question, please ask me in message or question. I will create a video about it in no time and I will explain it as best as I can. So now let's just start with how we can create our own game mode blueprint class. So for that, I want to create a new project and I want to go to games, and in blank I want to create a new game and I want to save it in course project. So if you want, I can upload it so you can have it. And I want to call it my project, doesn't matter. And it is it is in blueprint and everything at default. Let's just hit create. So this is a blank project that we just create, right? And in here, if you click on content, you can see there is just a starter content that has some mesh, some textures that we saw in last sections. So because we did create a blank project, the game mode is none in here. But if we go to edit in project setting, and if we go to maps and modes, you can see it has a game mode base, and this is the default game mode that it will be set by default, right? So everything by default. So if we go at selected game mode, in here we can see the for example, default pawn class. That is again because we create from blank project, it set the default pawn. Okay, so everything is at default, right? So now we want to create our own game mode. And for that, I want to create a new folder and I want to call it third person. Okay? Because a game I want us to create together is like it's third person project, but I will show you how you can make it first person and how you can make it isometric view and all of that. So now we have this folder. Let's just go inside it and right click in here. Now we want to create a game mode blueprint class, right? So we should click on blueprint class and it will tell you pick a parent class. So what is the parent? When you want to create a blueprint class, it will tell you what parent you want to choose. So the parent is all those libraries that Unreal Engine developers create for us to make our life very much easier. So for example, we have light, okay? And in the light, they create the light for us and we can use that light. It's exactly the same. So in here, whenever we want to create a blueprint class, it will tell us which tools of Unreal Engine you want to use to create this class with. And there is some type of it. And you can see there is some of it in here. But if you go to all classes, you can see there is a lot of classes that you can choose from. Okay, so for example, the light. If you search the light, you can see they create a lot of kind of lights for us so we can customize them, right? So there is default light that we can add to our scene, but we can customize them. For example, the light we want to blink for a scary game, and we can create a light, a custom light from the light that Unreal Engine developer create for us and customize it. And it's easy to customize these things. You remember the game mode right now, because we created from blank project, is game mode base, and you can see it in here as well, game mode base. Because we want to create a game mode, we want to start from a game mode base or derive from game mode base. So click on this game mode base and it will create our game mode. And in here we should call it BP for blueprint because it's just a blueprint, and I want to call it third person game mode. Okay, and right now you can see this icon. This icon means that this is a blueprint class, and if we click away you can see now that this is a game mode with this icon, you know it. And right now it is not saved, so right click on it and save it. Now if we double click on it to open it, you can see in here there is a classes category in here, that in these classes we can set the default pawn class. Okay, and at default it is default pawn. So for example, if I close this and go to word setting, game mode override, and select in here over BP third person game mode, or we can just drag and drop it from here to here, it will change the game mode from the default to our own game mode that we just create. Now if we hit play, you can see, because the default pawn, the character, the pawn that we are controlling is default pawn, so we can move around. And you can see when I play there is an audio, so I want to delete that audio so you can hear me clearly. So this is this audio. When we click on it you can see it in here as well. I want to hit delete to delete it. Now if I play, there is no audio. I will talk about audio a lot, don't worry. Just right now we want to have this default and blank project. No, this is our game mode and we want to customize this game mode. Okay, and because the default pawn class is default pawn, we can fly, and we don't need to fly. Our character shouldn't be able to fly, at least for now, right? So now let's just create a pawn so we can have our own character in our game. So right click again and go to blueprint class. Now it's time to talk about actor, pawn, and character. What is the difference between them? So the actor is an object that can't be controlled by default by gamepad and mouse and keyboard, and whatever that you see in the scene is just an actor. So for example, this 3D model is just an actor. The actor has some property. So for example, in here it has transform, so we can reposition it. It has a static mesh that we can set. It has material. So this one is called actor, that in this case is a static mesh. So in here, this is an actor, and at the child of that is a static mesh. Okay, now let's just again go to create blueprint class, and in here you can see the pawn. We can create a pawn to set it in our game mode, right? So the pawn is an actor. So whatever actor has, like these locations, this static mesh, this element, and all of that, the pawn can has it, because pawn is just a type of actor, right? It's derived from actor. And the important thing about this pawn is that it can receive input from a controller like keyboard, mouse, and gamepad. Okay, in this case we need a pawn, so let's just click on it and create this pawn. I want to call it BP third person pawn. Okay, now you can see this icon. Whenever you see this icon, it means that this is a pawn. So right click on it and save, so it will be saved. And now if we again go back to our game mode in here, we can change the default pawn class from default pawn to the pawn that we just create, and we call it BP third person pawn. And you should compile and save, and now we have our game mode with our pawn or character. So if we play now, you can see we can't do nothing, right? Because we didn't write any logic for this game mode. So let's just hit escape, and now we want to customize this pawn or character that is called our pawn, third person pawn.